Welcome once again to Noir Alley. Today's film is a real oddity, dished out to the American public from the guts of the original noir era, 1947. It's The Gangster. What makes this film so unusual is that it's a work of obvious artistic ambition, with grave portent poured into every frame of an archly theatrical, almost operatic production. Now, that might not be unusual for something produced at Paramount or 20th Century Fox, but for a picture made by the King brothers, the monarchs of Poverty Row, it is a true aberration. Brothers Frank, Maurice, and Herman Kosinski were transplanted New Yorkers who made a killing in the West Coast slot machine business during the 30s, a shady but more legal business than the bootlegging racket their father ran during Prohibition. They renamed themselves the Kings shortly after breaking into the picture business in 1940, making B movies under a long-term deal with Monogram. Frank King had the movie-making savvy, while his brother Maury was the shrewd businessman. They made pictures on dirt-cheap budgets, but always turned a profit. Their biggest score came in 1945, with a slapdash but exciting biopic of John Dillinger. Lawrence Tierney's scary performance as Public Enemy #1 drew in ticket buyers and helped camouflage that most of the picture was cobbled together from stock footage borrowed from other movies. Made at a time when studios had declared a moratorium on gangster films, Dillinger made more loot than any B movie of its day. It even earned an Oscar nomination for writer Philip Yordan, convincing the Kings that they were now in the big leagues. Looking to coattail on Dillinger's success, the Kings purchased a crime novel called Low Company by Daniel Fuchs, a New York schoolteacher. Fuchs was of the proletariat school of literary fiction. His tales of American working-class people had appeared in important national magazines, which in turn earned him a contract at Warner Brothers. After a fitful start, he turned out scripts like The Big Shot, The Hard Way, and Between Two Worlds. Fuchs would eventually write screenplays for such crime classics as Hollow Triumph, Crisscross, and Panic in the Streets, even winning an Oscar for the 1956 Doris Day drama Love Me or Leave Me, itself more than a little noir-stained. For most of these movies, Fuchs was adapting the work of others. With The Gangster, the King brothers had him adapt his own book, and the results are distinctive. No other noir of the time, with the exception of Abraham Polanski's Force of Evil, features such florid, soul-searching dialogue. Adding to the film's uniqueness is a visual style that matches its verbal artifice. That's because director Gordon Wiles was really a production designer. He'd won an Oscar in 1931 for his art direction of the terrific film Transatlantic, which led to constant double duty. Wiles worked as a designer of A pictures while directing lower-budget Bs. For this film, he recreated an East Coast boardwalk town entirely on sound stages. Frank King believed in saving money by not shooting on location. He chastised big studios for their profligate spending, telling The Hollywood Reporter, "With The Gangster, we used an art director who was able to reproduce Coney Island and New York's elevated trains in cardboard." By not using proper technicians and with no regard for expense, a different producer might have called in a construction company to build a portion of the L, or even have taken a costly trip to the actual locale. On the screen, the difference cannot be discerned. Well, with all due respect to Mr. King, the difference certainly can be discerned, especially in modern high def. But the more crucial question is, does it matter? No rule says movies need to be naturalistic, only engrossing. And on that score, star Barry Sullivan carries more than his share of the weight. As the title character, a small-time racketeer of indeterminate ethnicity named Shabunka, he mixes seething insecurity with a hot-headed temper. Never a good combo in real life, but dynamite on screen. Sullivan had made an earlier picture for the Kings, Monogram's first million-dollar movie, the quirky 1946 noir Suspense, which I've shown before on Noir Alley. Also returning from that film is my ice queen, Belita, who plays the gangster's main squeeze. She does not skate in this one, however, a rarity for the one-time Olympian. The story's low company includes an astounding bunch of noir regulars: Harry Morgan, John Ireland, Akeem Tamarov, Sheldon Leonard, Elijah Cook Jr., and Charles McGraw, as well as terrific turns by actresses Joan Loring, Fifi Dorsey, Virginia Christine, and in bit parts, Jeff Corey, Billy Gray, and Shelley Winters. So settle in as the curtain rises on this most stagey of noirs, The Gangster.